Hey guys, it's Cody with Mainstream. I'm working with the great architect friend, and we're looking at radon and how to solve the problem with radon. And one of the things is we're looking at radon mats and then radon mitigation that may be required and what really works. And we know that the radon collects in concrete. And so this is just a wall assembly of a passive house we're working on, and we've got a radon line, a radon mat line rather. And if we follow that line, what we're doing is we're blocking out the radon. And that's one of the great things that passive house has done to the world is it's eliminated ice damming. You won't have ice damming in our buildings because we're breaking the thermal bridge and we're eliminating any air travel and we're eliminating any convection, or I mean radiation. So you got the thermal break here, you've got convection break there, and then you've got the radiation break. So no snow and ice can dam up there. Similar, we can solve radon by designing it out. Now, one mitigations that we do currently take is waterproofing the outside of the wall, which is actually done in a haphazard way. I don't think it's taken serious because I don't think we know how serious it is. It's a budget item, it's spray painted on. Sometimes they get it on good, sometimes they don't. But the truth is, they don't get it on in a way that's radon tight, and we're neglecting the footer oftentimes, especially underneath the footer. So anywhere concrete touches earth is going to retain radon. So in this example, we've drawn it out. Now that's just one step. So if your building's airtight and specifically you've blocked radon out of the foundation, the next thing is ventilation, because you have to move air to reduce the amount of radiation, radon in the air. So, in order to do that, proper exhausting of the crawl space and then refilling the crawl space with the proper amount of air. In a duplex passive build, we did just that, taking recycled billboard banner and then pouring the whole entire concrete footing and wall inside that, depressurizing the crawl space with the ERV exhaust, and cutting a little hole out in the floor above the laundry room to let the air come back in. So the air's always leaving the crawl space and it's getting brand new conditioned air pulled into the crawl space. And the upstairs radon level after a month reading, after we had Certivoc on this building, was just at 100 ppm. So pretty amazing. Actually, I think it's in a different measurement. It's not ppm on radon. It's like PGUS or something. I'll have that in just a minute. Here's another picture of that radon mat getting applied outside, which we actually were able to not spray waterproof on, but we used this matting on the outside to solve that problem. Here's another test that kind of shows a passive building's radon measurement in the Greenspire apartment, and we're doing the same thing there. As we did a really strong radon mat underneath, and then we did the ERV in the crawl space, and it knocks out any radon on the main ground level floor. Here's a room, another room, and it's just showing us the radon's really low in this room. But you can tell when they're sleeping because the CO2 there hits the red, hits the red, hits the red. So it's the sin wave. Some more study of radon looking at, like the radon here. And what I'm saying here is the power line was turned off and repaired a couple of times. And so when that ERV shuts off, that radon just climbs. And so do VOCs sometimes, and that depends on how bad the air is outside when you open and close the door of the showroom. Here's the Nantes library. It was a quick study. I don't think some of this is subjective, right? Because maybe the test isn't served as long. But I didn't have a radon spike within like a 4-hour period at a library, and then we dropped it off at Platteville Library, and you can totally notice the spike over that duration of time that we moved it from a radon neutral level to that library for that week. Excuse me. And the thing about the ERVs is when you're ventilating, so you're keeping people breathing air, the low CO2 with ERVs, reduced radon with ERVs, and then you add that passive house air tightness where we're blocking out the radon and we're not allowing outside air just to blow in through the walls and windows and things. You get this recovery rate. So our extracts, basically it's leaving the bathroom. In this example of an ERV in use at 71.2 degrees, it's leaving the building and it's coming back in at 65.5. So it's 22 outside and you're getting 65 degrees of fresh air for like pennies. And it's like pennies because what you don't see in this picture, if I scroll down on it, is that it's only using like 50 watts. And so that's why the ERV is like super efficient. It doesn't cost a lot to use. And to do that, here's that Nantes library where we had that nice 15 mil radon mat taped up the sidewall and then taped to that primary air barrier. And then they came in and over insulated that with continuous insulation. And I've got another picture here of the inside of where that radon mat had to come on the inside. I believe this was a safe room or something. So again, I'm just showing you, when you block that out, it's got to be taped and it's got to be pretty bulletproof. I think we're coming to the end of my pictures. I've got one picture here where we changed Kim Jordan's filters in a passive house that we did, and a picture of it afterward. Let's see, I must have lost that picture. Darn it, it was my before and after. Give me 2 seconds and maybe I can find it again, because I had it in my Radon folder, and there it is. So before we changed her filter, and that house was kind of vacant a lot, so you could just see this radon just climbed when I had taken it over there, and then, you know, as soon as I had changed that radon, I left it there another week, and that radon level just, you know, went away. So, in conclusion, you got to have your radon mat done correctly, and you got to have it ventilated correctly. And so any exposed concrete that's not protected with that air barrier then is going to be a contributor of radon. So just like we broke the thermal bridges and the convection of an ice dam, and then we over-insulated it to break the radiation, the same components are done in the crawl space. So we're just airtighting it with a vapor-closed 15 millimeter mat, and we're taping it up on the outside of the wall. And I think this detail shows it really well on how that radon mat just comes up over that footer. And so see, you can tell that if the radon is impregnated this concrete, there's no way for it to get in unless we forget this critical joint here, okay? Or we have contractors that just don't care about the red line. So I hope that helps with a little backing of my opinion and just some measurements there. And thanks for asking. Talk to you later.